First one will be Ken's project from Monticello, and let me give you a little background on this. The building that we're going to be talking about was built in 1908 as a jewelry store. He sold the building, Mr. Hecht, in 1924 to the city. As early as 1931, the first floor was converted to a fire station, and the upstairs was used as city council chambers. Let's go to the next slide. Once the 1990s came along, the lower floor was converted to the city council chambers, and the upstairs was used as storage. So the truck entrance that was there was bricked up, and the ramp was level. The city of Monticello vacated the building after relocating offices to the Benton department store building. The Bank of Monticello subsequently purchased this building. Here is the first proposal. Yes? No, here's one of the proposals that came out. Ken, why don't you describe what came before you?
Okay. Can we go back one slide? All right, so what the Bank of Monticello, they actually purchased two buildings that are on one lot, and the other building is a non-historic building to the left, which also went through design review, but it's not included in this design exercise. This building, they're not planning on using right now, but did want to restore while they were doing construction on the site. Their proposal was to remove the brick that you see and to put in an aluminum storefront that went from, actually they're going to take out the transom windows that you see above the brick and put in a new storefront. They had new transom windows and then glass down, I think all the way down to the floor. If we could go 2 slides forward.
Ken, I had a question. What's the brass plaque?
Oh, okay. The brass plaque is, it actually denotes that it's a contributing building in the National Register.
Okay.
That's city code. So these multi-light bordered transoms were to be removed. I guess this, okay. Pratt turned me into this, so I'm sorry if I'm jumping around a little bit. Okay, so when this was presented to the commission, the things I pointed out to the commission were that this probably had a flush storefront at some point. And the evidence I pointed to was this I-beam that was put in. And the evidence that I proposed that pointed to this not being original is, one, if you will look on the far side, that I-beam goes all the way to the edge of the building where there was at the time an existing historic, well, it wasn't historic at the time, but an existing building. On this side, there was not a building at the time that this was converted to a fire station. And because of that, they couldn't go all the way to the edge because that would have created instability. So the reason that they had to put the I-beam in was because they were removing whatever was below that. However, the multi-light bordered transoms are original to the building, and I interpreted those as probably being, you've seen display windows where they have the transom in the front and transoms at the back of the display so that they could capture natural light all the way in. And so I interpreted that as the back of the original display area. And let's see what the next slide is, since I don't know. Okay, other evidence was that there's a cast iron threshold that comes across, and then it was cut through here, and then on the left side to create a ramp for the truck bay. But another reason there had to be a ramp is because this building used to be at grade, and at some time when they graded down the street further down, it created that 2 to 3 foot step up, which creates this very strange pattern of having to have steps come out onto the public sidewalk. And there was one remaining cast iron column. And let's see what the next slide is. Okay, so this actually was the original proposal. And then the one you saw before was one that actually came in after the decision had been made. I talked to the architect, and he understood what I was saying and came up with a new proposal, but didn't send it to the bank until after it went through design review, so it was kind of a moot point. But here's their original proposal to take out all the upper panels and put in obscured glass panels and then aluminum storefront down to a bulkhead or a kick plate that was made of brick. And as a staff report, mine was that if you're going to put back a storefront into this building, it probably should if you're restoring it to the look of the store, then it should go back flush. And that we would prefer that you use wood bulkheads rather than brick, and that the glass transoms with the multi-panes around them are historic material, some of the little historic material left from the original storefront, that they should remain in place.
So this was the proposal they voted on?
This was the one they voted on.
Okay, I'll sit down.
And, oh, that's right, that's right. I can't tell them what happened.
I know, you can't tell them. Okay, next slide, please. So we've got four in favor of. Anyone approve with changes? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, deny. Eight. Okay. Those who approved with changes, what changes would you suggest?
Maintaining the cast iron column.
Maintaining the cast iron column. What else?
Positioning the entrance door on the front facade in a way that still respected the earlier fire engine bay.
Okay, respecting that that evolution over time, that it was a fire station historically. Over 50 years old, fire trucks have been pulling into there, but not for a long time, okay?
Maintain the transoms that were at the back.
Maintain the transoms at the back.
Make the elevation accurate because the hill is a slanted hill.
Make the elevation accurate. Okay? Wood instead of brick. Wood members instead of aluminum. Any others?
The door.
The door. A more appropriate door.
Yes.
Okay, next slide. So, what happened? Ken?
They came close to a lot of your suggestions. They did require that the original transom windows be retained. They did allow, but they allowed the new storefront to be placed in the recess rather than brought out front. They did not require wood kick panels, but they did require the brick to be put in to be patterned in a light manner, so it kind of has a paneled effect, even though it's made out of brick. They required the retention of the cast iron column. I think that pretty much covers it. So it was approved with conditions.
And didn't do that crappy door. But tick, 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 tick. Time goes on, the clock moves. Ken goes home. Not that I have later. Let's take a look. Awnings pop up. They did not come before the commission with the COA, for a COA.
Deep one.
What, anybody have an issue with this? And what is your issue?
Awning on steroids.
Big damn awning. My God. And then the double one over those two windows. What the hell is that? God, it must be a church or a bank. It's a bank. Okay.
I think the reason the awning ended up so big, aside from the fact that they didn't go through the process, was that the awning maker measured a typical distance from the sidewalk to the bottom of the awning. But since this building no longer sits at grade like it's supposed to, that should have been about 3 feet shorter than it is. And if you look at 3 feet shorter, that would have been a much better awning that nobody has.
Now, do you notice anything else about this slide?
What they do to the brick color?
Yeah, the front is totally
Brick little thing out there. What you saying, Diane?
planters.
Planter. It's a movie. Yeah, a brick planter that was also not part of the original plan, came in after the fact.
Didn't they paint the brick?
Didn't they what?
Paint it?
Paint, yes, it is. No.
It was painted before, it was just painted red.
Yeah,